Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I am Lisa Fernandes, and
I'm Chris Jayawardena.
We're reviewing It's the Water this week. Still making our way through season 1. We're getting closer and closer to the season finale. And we're getting close to some really prime episodes. Some of the series' best episodes actually come towards the end of this season. Unfortunately, this isn't one of them. This is directed by Dennis Klein, and it was written by Greg Strangis. And you said you had some interesting factoids about them both. Wow.
Yeah, so Greg Strangis is another one of the folks that has written a lot of television. So in addition to a couple of episodes of Happy Days, this one episode of Laverne and Shirley, didn't do any more for this series. He's also credited with 10 episodes of Love American Style. Stuff off and on through the 80s. He also was the creator of that late 80s War of the Worlds TV series. When you get to the 90s, now when you think of 90s television, especially for our generation that grew up with the 90s television, you do think of two shows definitely come to mind, especially if you had cable. Yeah. One is Jag. And in Jag, he wrote 3 episodes in 1996. Huh. Now, the other, obviously, was Baywatch. Now, Greg Strangis didn't write Baywatch. He wrote 3 episodes of Baywatch Nights.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, which episodes? Which part of the series? You got to that? Yeah, I want to know which part of the series.
Okay, 96, The Creature. In 1997, 2 episodes, Ascension and Symbol of Death.
Oh my god, I'm pretty sure those are from the supernatural part of the series. Oh god, that's great. Shout out to Alison Fregler. I'm thinking of you right now, sis. This is like amazing.
Yeah, that's why I was asking Lisa whether I should mention it before we started recording or after, and I said you probably should get the natural reaction. So there's our natural reaction.
I was like I immediately thought of Allison. I think Baywatching Nights. She does a damn good job. Watch her show. She's damn good. But yeah, I could love this guy. Has an interesting career. That's one interesting career. That is fun. That's fun. Oh man, I think that's probably one of the more varied writer backgrounds I've heard of for somebody on the show. It's really.
That's so far. I mean, we may discover the fact that the writer of one of the previous episodes was also the guy who wrote one of the Chuck Norris Missing in Action movies was pretty good.
That's cool. That's also cool. Tell you, and us writers are varied creatures.
Indeed. I mean, even it's apparently the director of this episode, Dennis Klein, was a uncredited writer, which means he either did script doctoring or just was one of the many folks brought in to manage the writing of Beverly Hills Cop 2, which I suppose makes kind of sense. The Beverly Hills Cop movies kind of turned pretty sitcom-y pretty fast, so yeah. I guess it figures. He also was the creator of the Larry Sanders Show in 92. So
Wow. That's a credit. That's cool. That's really cool. Something I absolutely didn't know at all.
The things you don't know. And I think part of it is, we grew up with these shows and didn't really always pay attention to the credits. Like if there was a name that was distinctive, we would remember it. But for some, they were, they were the shows that were a little too adult. We weren't supposed to watch them. Yeah. Or they're kind of like aspects that we kind of come to later, and yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how you watched it, when you were watching it, what the context was. Yes, it's really interesting when you think about it, how people will kind of journey through the entertainment industry, and we'll see more of that. We will definitely see more of that as the show goes on. Okay, that's exciting. There's a couple of interesting stars coming up, a couple of interesting writers coming up, a couple of interesting directors coming up that I know for a fact are coming up. Okay. And here is what the episode's about. Ambitious go-getter Shirley plans to work her way to a plum beer tasting position. Unfortunately, 2 sips of the stuff during her test run puts Shirley under the table, and she's in competition for the position with Laverne, who has a hollow leg. Laverne thinks she's a lock for the job, but it's Shirley who gets both the raise and the position. Laverne is angry and frustrated, especially when Shirley puts on airs, but the girls make up after Shirley realizes she's been treating Laverne poorly. Soon, Shirley and Laverne both realize Wolfgang Geisler, Shirley's new supervisor, has a reason for wanting Shirley on the payroll even though she's a lightweight. And it's up to Laverne, Carmine, Lenny, and Squiggy to ride to the rescue. What do you think of this episode?
I like that it shows. Here's one thing I will say. Now, I grew up with a teetotaling mother, because my mom's family had a lot of issues with alcoholism, so she was definitely the one that was like, nope, not doing that. Rather smartly, my mother's a smart woman, and so it took a long time for me to realize that, oh right, women can drink.
Yeah.
And so I like that this is very matter of fact about that.
Yeah.
When it comes, oh god, it's creepy. I'm not a fan of creeper dudes wanting to do creepy things to anybody, but people I like in general. This is irony, of course, because of the amount of Grindhouse movies that I watch. I mean, I was just reminded of a Joe D'Amato movie. Be very careful if you decide to Google that name, by the way.
Don't do that. Because don't do a safe search on. It's not my best advice. And then go to the Wikipedia, and you'll feel better unless you're really into the Grindhouse stuff. You'll feel better about that.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, that being said, there's some wonderful comedic elements of this episode. There are some sweet moments of this episode. I love when Laverne figures out what's going on, like that immediacy in her face, and she's like, it's like, and she's, grabbing Lenny and Squiggy and and she's having trouble finding the words, and that was great.
Lenny immediately knows what's wrong. He knows something's wrong. So what do you want me to do? What? Sure. Okay. And then they get distracted almost on the way out the door. They look back at the couch and go, I'll give you $1 to walk on the couch.
And I love when she comes back and catches, like, you were to walk on my couch, weren't you? It's like, no. Just yelling at each other is great. Yeah, there's some wonderful physical comedy in this. I mean, I even love there's that bit when Shirley it's like, all right, sit down, go ahead and just sit down. And she sits down, not in the chair, which is completely plastered. And she just sits down on the floor, but uses the table to, be gently coming down. Like, that's the wonderful bit of physical comedy. And like getting the window open and the Peter Pan moment. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of good physical stuff in here. Obviously, the big specter that looms over all of it is the acquaintance rape, boss rape that nearly happens. Attempted rape, obviously here, attempted.
Right.
And which is like, well, it isn't the first time the show. This is the first time the show deals with this. It won't be the last. And sadly, its take on the material gets more and more burlesque. And wink, humor laden as it goes on until the point we end up in season 8. And I won't tell you kids what happens yet in season 8, but it's coming. But it culminates in that. And it's just that is the most unfortunate part of the show's choice for what it does with itself.
It's like Well, I'm so sorry to interject. Just the only upside before getting too carried away is just that this one episode, I wouldn't even call this an upside. Just it softens the blow. It is treated as a negative.
Yes.
It's there are elements of it for comedic purposes, but it's done as this is the bad guy, kind of aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing positive at all. This guy is 100% made to be in the wrong, made to be evil for a damn good reason.
Mm-hmm.
The boys take this seriously, even despite the walking on the couch thing, and do go get Carmine and Laverne, and definitely take this seriously. Definitely ride to the rescue. And since you could presume that Lenny and Squiggy drove all of them there after after finding Carmine, because they're the only one with a car.
Right.
This whole show at this point, except that this will change later, but they're the only one with the car. And but everybody takes it seriously. It's not a good thing. He's a bad person for doing it. The unfortunate thing is that this is why Shirley's been risen up through the ranks, and her talents and her actual skills are not being put to good use. And it's unfortunate.
And that's the interesting. Because I mean, we're talking a lot about the second half of the episode so far, but the first half of the episode has that element of you know,
class.
Shirley basically, you know, not getting the job based on the real merits of whether she's right for it or not. Because, you know, yeah, truthfully, you would want a beer tester, especially someone that you're going to be doing lots of different tests through the day, that isn't going to fall into the table after, you know, 2 drinks.
Exactly.
And you have, but then you also have like the elements of the jealousy arc with Laverne and Shirley, you know, Laverne especially getting so jealous.
Yeah.
And I mean, that really just kind of hilariously heartbreaking scene in the bar the pizza bowl. This beer presence I was thinking in that context, but
that's great.
what was it? Yeah, it's the it's like, oh well, you can't sit with the little people. It's like, no, see, I'm talking to Laverne, you know, and
Oh, low blow.
low blow, yeah.
Low
Oh God, yeah. That
blow.
one
She
comes
becomes a
back if I
Lenny line
recall.
for a while in the show.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great lines in that one little block of the episode where Carmine comes in and he says, "It's still Angel Face, right? It's not Saint Face. You have with your promotion." Yeah.
Oh God,
Saint Face is a great line.
that's a great line, and I mean, I'd totally be cool surely taking a swipe at him for that one.
I know. The Carmine hatred starts early.
Yeah, but it also is that the but even though also with Shirley is that it's what's kind of, you know, sad and also hilarious about that scene is seeing how Shirley indeed has gotten this has gone to her head. And I actually love that it's very subtle in the way they do it. It's not the way that a lot of TV shows, especially like the kids shows I grew up on, which often have these jealousy arcs and, you know, someone rising on the hierarchy. You would almost call them like a crab in a bucket, you know, or crabs in a bucket type episode. They often do it super over the top, and Shirley here is it's very subtle in the way that it kind of comes out venomously in these little barbs, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, all the little barbs, all the little hints. The boys kind of are the ones who stoke the fire here, which is just funny. You can expect it from Lenny and Squiggy, but you don't expect it from Carmine. And Carmine's just right in there with them. So it makes you wonder how insecure he is about the whole situation. But this you're bringing it back to the fact that Laverne is like very, 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 very good at drinking without getting drunk, so to speak. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And this becomes a theme throughout the show, to the point where it starts accelerating. And in a drama, this would be serious business, but it accelerates throughout the show, and her ability to drink and not, you know, feel it too hard afterwards and not really get drunk.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first little hint we get of that, and I thought it was, you know, an interesting hint of where they're going to take her, A, and B, I thought it was fascinating that the way the show thankfully does not shame her for this, does not shame her for you know, being able to do this and having this as a skill, so to speak. So I thought that was interesting.
I did too, yeah. And I think that was when I guess I was trying to get at about women can drink or women can be good, you know, celebrated drinkers in a sense, is that, you know, because everybody is, you know, different. Is I guess it was pronounced, I think, to me because of the fact it doesn't shame her for it. It's just, you know, this is who she is. And admittedly, in person, I've known. I think I told this story to you privately once. I haven't told this on the show, but like when I've done behind the scenes for some of the local Pacific Northwest film stuff. And one of the behind the scenes videos that I shot, I was on set for, was a short film called Star Drunk, where all the actors were actually intoxicated. Now, there was an actor, Britt Harris, and she was so well trained as an actor, was so sharp, because she had been doing like at the time, she'd been doing like 3 weeks of Shakespeare training. She could not slur her lines, even though that was the point of the show. She just couldn't. She like nailed the delivery every single time, and she metabolized the alcohol so fast. She was plastered when she was done. Hour and a half later, she was up on her feet and ready to go home. She was completely fine. It just completely went out of her system within that 90 minutes. So it's weird. It's a thing.
Go ahead. Yeah, metabolism is a fascinating thing.
I really wish I still had one.
No.
Yeah, ran into a wall at the age of about 26 or 27, and losing weight has sucked ever since.
God, yeah. Quarantine hell is all I gotta say right now.
Oh God, yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be an interesting time capsule for future generations.
Quarantine hell is quarantine hell, and I'm a damn good baker. Is all I gotta
Oh
say.
God, yeah. I just made homemade granola today. You know,
Brownies, cream cheese
oh
brownies.
God, oh wow. I love the sound of that. I want to smell them. I'll have to smell them from a distance. It's probably not gluten free.
Someday.
I'm sorry. We just suddenly turned to a baking
Someday.
a baking
Yeah.
podcast all of a sudden. Sorry, everybody.
That's the other podcast. That's the podcast we don't talk about anyway. It just doesn't exist anyway. That'd be somehow the dirty podcast. I don't know what.
Whoa. Okay.
I don't know. I don't even know how that would work. Never mind. I've read that. Never mind. Anyway.
Back
okay.
on track.
I was gonna say back on track.
What did you think of the jealousy arc in this?
I really like. This is the first time this will be revisited. We get another episode that once again talks about Shirley trying to improve herself career-wise, and Laverne's jealous of her, both that she has ascended this high, and that she's now her boss, and ergo has to do a bunch of treat her like this is her superior. At work, this is her superior. And Shirley keeps letting her boss' personal life line break apart and waver. So I really like the way they define this. I really understand it because for Laverne, she really wanted this. This is something she's good at. And Shirley's pronouncedly not good at it. And she has to watch her best friend, whom she loves, ascend above her and do something that she's frankly not suited for.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's the and that's the interesting thing I actually really did like about the sort of the turn as things get suddenly pretty dark, halfway through the episode, is Laverne immediately realizing that it wasn't just that the people higher up didn't understand, that she wasn't good for the job or wasn't right for the job, but that there really was some bad, negative, ulterior motive. Her immediate reaction is, I have to go rescue her. She doesn't hold it against her. I even love that little like kind of heartwarming moment, kind of like what you would normally see at the end of the show, but you see it halfway into the show, which is the moment of Shirley offering to quit. And Laverne says, I don't want you to do that. She says, it's my problem.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who has to basically figure it out.
Yeah.
That to me, I felt was a very mature way of handling that. So it wasn't, but it was interesting though. Yeah, exactly. That that's why I mentioned the crabs in the bucket thing is like, it's difficult. It's difficult to see someone else, succeeding, getting out of the bucket. You want to drag them back down in some respects, which is really what the pizza bowl scene very much is.
Yeah. Yeah. This is our bucket. Stay in our bucket.
Exactly.
Basically. Right. The show does a lot of interesting things when it comes to this because they have to maintain the girls' sisterhood, which will forever be paramount during the show's run, and they also have to give them bits of conflict, and this is one of the go-to conflict points. They have other times where the girls will fight over. There's actually only one little episode. No, it's a couple episodes they fight over guys. But that's not like a strong theme. It's mostly them against the world. And so whenever they pit them against each other for a thing, that's interesting. Choice of word. Choice of writing. Choice of... Well, probably my favorite thing about this episode, is the Laverne, Lenny, and Squiggy scene, honestly. Honestly, that's my favorite. Well, probably my favorite scene. Probably one of my favorite season one. Just plain scenes, just to cut it out of everything else. If it was cut out of the episode just on its own, I would rank the episode much higher. But I just love this one little scene. The fact that they actually bring her pizza.
I love that.
Happily bring her pizza and just have dinner with her, and they're eating in these fancy suits, trying to charm her into going to a carnival. In the hope that they'll get to perform some heavy floating.
Yeah, I love that line too. That's so good.
Same. And like, I love that she goes, I'm not that hard up.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not that hard up. And it's like, the way this show kind of dances around them dating each other, the way it deals with them dating each other. They do, in spite of Gary Marshall's edict, they do date those boys.
Yeah.
They do go out
Yeah.
with those boys.
It's just,
and
not, it's a,
yeah,
well, what was it? The last resort, or the,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The last ditch dates.
last ditch. That
ditch
was the
dates.
word. I was like, ditch. Yeah.
Yeah. But the way they handle that scene's hilarious.
That's great.
And it's like, and the fact that they just want to take them off this carnival and just go and be in a swan boat. And she goes, I get seasick in a swan boat.
Yeah. I was about to mention that. I love that. Yeah, it's cute. I mean, that's the thing. I guess we're getting pretty close to, the big point, I think, where we really see it. But you see the seed feels planted here of understanding that these four, Laverne and Shirley, Lenny and Squiggy, they all hung out together. Yeah. And like they're, like this, I guess, confirms what Laverne was saying earlier to in Dog Day Blind Dates was they're my friends. I'm not always proud of it, but they're still my friends, and like, because I mean, friends bring you pizza, when you don't, when you're busy, and some friends, I suppose, get tickets to the Tunnel of Love ride and try to make out. No, it's no. I mean, admittedly, I probably know a couple of friends that would do that for me.
There you go. Hey.
Yeah.
Gotta enjoy it when you get offered it. Yeah. Honestly, the reason that you always see like this pas de deux. Again, I said French on you, pas de deux. Mm-hmm. You always see this with the guys trying to convince the girls. Just try to charm them into just a little bit of it, and the girls turning them down. That will change as time goes on. It'll go through various different switches and point of view shifts, and as they get closer and closer and become closer and closer and closer friends, because that really shifts like by season 6 or season 7, where basically they go to each other for advice. Mm-hmm. They treat each other like human beings. We haven't gotten to the point yet where the girls actually see the boys as human beings.
Yeah,
but they'll get there. They'll get there. They'll get there. We'll get there. But you can see you can kind of see as you watch them interact. You can imagine the fact that they all met in first grade, which is what is show canon. Mm-hmm. That is basically show canon. It's kind of hard to like puzzle it out when you look at the way it's set up with Laverne's mother's death, which we'll get to in future episodes. But Laverne and Shirley got kicked out of the Brownies together, and they do say that they went through school with the boys. So they basically have known each other since first grade, since they were around 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. Possibly kindergarten, possibly since they were 5.
God.
Or 4 or so.
Wow. I remember...
So that's a long time to know someone.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my first friend I ever made at school, in kindergarten, no less. That friendship lasted all of 4 months. And then we never spoke to each other again.
Yeah. We've all lived that one. We've lived that one. I know I've lived that one. Man.
Yeah, but that's for our other depressing podcast. That's for school day after school day, where we discuss the ins and outs of the horrors that is grade school. Disclaimer.
Stay for the chocolate chip cookie recipe.
But anyway, but yes. I agree though with what you're saying. I mean, I really do enjoy that scene. There's aspects of it that I really liked. I went back to it just like within very recently, and it's a I think especially as you mentioned this before, and I think this is a great example of it, where when the group comes together as like a team against an obstacle, this is a wonderful example of that, where once Laverne figures out what's going on and gets the boys mobilized and they go rescue Shirley, like that is a great moment. And it's a case where, again, if it wasn't for the theme of the whole second act and the theme of the antagonist and how just slimy he is, I would rank this episode higher because of that.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is when they all team up together. There was an excellent episode in season 2 that's coming where they all team up to get one little reward out of the universe, and it is fabulous. And they all just basically become a team, and they all move toward a single goal, and it's probably one of the best episodes of the series. Probably one of my favorites. Probably my favorite slapstick ones.
Nice. Very nice.
I've got I have to categorize my favorite episodes by what does this do best? What does this do best?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Got a favorite dramatic episode, got a favorite funny episode, so.
Yeah. Whatever show or franchise you're into, you eventually get down to that point of like the best for this, the best for that. I'm kind of that way with Bond movies.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, you got plenty of material there.
Yeah.
Just try to shove this into this and put that into that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I guess that does that just kind of segue us into the altercation, the moment, the point where it all goes wrong and we feel very, very uncomfortable with Wolfgang Gessler and all of the oh god. Yeah. I will say, kudos to the actor. I had to grab notes. Oh my God, it was geez, I had the note right here. Is Greg Lewis? Kudos to him for being a genuine creep in this part, and being a German creep without being just too much of a Nazi. Like he's a particular type of creep that's not a Nazi creep, because that's the problem with a lot of American television is we have a tendency to make Germans into Nazi creeps.
Yeah, he does a real good job. He does a real good job being gross. The whole, sometimes I love this show with like every fiber of my being. I love this show so very much. I love this show so much that I am staring at my Madame Alexandra Laverne and Shirley dolls as I say this. As I rewatch this show, God, do I get tired of the rape stuff, the attempted rape stuff. Come on, Gary Marshall. Come on, dude. I'm looking right up at you right now, dude. Come on, just you're better than this. The show is better than this.
It really is. Yeah.
It's just like, and it's just like every time it comes up, it's not funny. It wasn't funny in the 70s. It's not funny now.
Nope.
That's just the truth. And it's just it's just it's unpleasant to watch. It's unpleasant to watch one of your favorite characters try to avoid rape for 15 to 20 minutes. And that happens again. It happens again, and then season 8. Goddamn season 8.
Oh god. I feel like I'm gonna need to like borrow Gamera the Turtle's shell when we get to season 8 and just hide inside of it. Probably just make an apartment in there, actually.
That's the universal theme. That's the universal theme. When even your actors say, well, it was a mess, sorry, it's like, gosh.
But
yeah, that it's just a theme. It's just a running theme, and it doesn't need to be a running theme. And if it was dealing, which was trying, at least this episode does the best job in trying to examine the sexual harassment and attempted rape and attempted impaired rape.
Mm-hmm.
Acquaintance rape that was going on in the 70s as women emerged into the career market and emerged into the industrial world. And at least this tries to examine it in a way that's not horrifying. It tries.
Right.
Other episodes will not and do not, and it's terrible.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah.
But the way Carmine is used here makes me wonder if they were trying to set up a parallel between his character and the character of Fonzie on Happy Days, because Fonzie had this whole period where he kept rescuing Joni from guys who were trying to hurt her.
Oh God, I do remember that. Yeah.
Multiple rape plots, where he's just rescuing her from dudes who want to hurt her physically, and Gary Marshall, you could tell, kind of wanted Eddie Mecca to kind of break out a little bit in that way. From the way, eventually, how things go as the series ends, for the fact that he was cast in Blansky's Beauties in the middle of the show and was playing Carmine and as Carmine's cousin, Joey DeLuca, at the same time. For the fact that they actually tried to make an episode where there's a Carmine dance craze. Just like Do the Fonzie, you had to do the Carmine. So,
And as much as I like Eddie in the part, I mean, he just doesn't have the, it's you have it or you don't, and that's the catch. And what that means is you have to then find who they are as an actor and then use that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what's interesting is the way that Carmine comes up to Wolfgang in the scene. It's kind of terrifying. I mean, as in. I mean, obviously, I've watched a lot of gangster films, so I mean, obviously, I'm thinking about it from that perspective. But it's definitely like, when he says he's going to throw him down a few flights of stairs, even with Laverne warning, not too many, Carmine.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably is going to like freaking hospitalize this guy, like that's what it feels like. And the Fonz, on the other hand, is I'm going to hurt you enough that you're going to stop, but I'm not going to go too far. Carmine in that scene feels like he's going to go too far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Fonz will not get his nails dirty on some reprobate. He will let you know you're a reprobate and make you feel it in every inch of your soul. And then just lightly slap you and you'll fall down. That's the Fonz. Mm-hmm. Carmine will beat the shit out of you. That's the two characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And
which is the other, just to quickly add on, this is as I keep saying about Carmine, I get bothered by him being this Italian, almost gangster sort of stereotype. And this is another example for me of that, coming up where it's like, oh, so you're doing this bad thing, huh? Okay, I don't think I'm going to like it too much. You're going to come with me now. And
that comes up even more and more deeper in the season. Even not in the season, not in the series. Like season 3, season 4, season 5. We get a lot of that. But, yeah, I think Gary Marshall expected Carmine to break out bigger than he did. Honestly, I think he expected him to break out bigger and be cooler to the kids and all that stuff. Instead, Lenny and Squiggy took off.
Right.
That's what happened.
So it's kind of like James LaGrosse in Phantasm 2. They thought he was going to be the big star, and it turns out everybody remembers Reggie Bannister from that movie instead.
Well, that even happened in Happy Days. In Happy Days, originally it was supposed to be about Richie learning the ways of life from Potsy.
What?
Instead, Henry Winkle comes in, he does this guest spot, he steals the show, and it becomes the Fonzie show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a total accident too. Happened twice. The only time that didn't happen on a major Gary Marshall sitcom was with Mork and Mindy. And that's just because Robin Williams is a force of nature. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you decide to hire a tornado as your lead actor.
Yeah, extremely lovable tornado.
Yes.
That's what happens. Yeah. But yeah, that happened like twice. The way Penny kind of engineered the boys onto the show. Yeah, she wanted David and Michael there. She wanted those characters there. And I know, what I do know is that he definitely embraced it when they took off. He basically embraced the hello. You got all that merchandise, and you got all that album promotion. Mm-hmm, a lot of stuff happened. But, I think he kind of really wanted, I'm just speculating here, but I feel like they really wanted him to break through even bigger than he did, Eddie Mecca. They really wanted something even bigger for him. And, like, between the spin-off stuff that happens later, between the dance craze and all that stuff, and it just, the audience, it's almost too late for the audience to embrace it. I don't think they pushed Carmine enough in the beginning where we could have, like, hooked, caught on in the public's imagination, Plus, you said that, like, he doesn't have that, like, Fonz instant wow factor. And then the boys have that wow factor.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
yeah,
the
boys make their mark. I mean, pretty much as soon as you hear, David as Squiggy, it's like you don't forget that.
No.
Yeah, as soon as you see the first hello gag, it's done.
Yeah. I still love that story about David not understanding who he's saying hello to.
Yeah.
That's still a
Oh, I
story.
love
I think
that.
I told that story. Did I tell that story already? I think I must have.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, but it was basically
Yeah.
it's like, who am I saying hello to? And it's like this is your moment, you know. No, everyone's gonna forget.
It's your dynamite.
Your dynamite. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, we did mention this in the
Your
first
dynamite.
couple episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was probably the second episode. That was Gary Marshall to him. It's your dynamite. Don't question it. Basically.
Right. But
And as Penny called that an actor thing when you're asking, what am I doing? Who am I speaking to? Why am I over? I think, yeah, trying to figure it out. And Gary's just like, just do it. Just say it. It's perfect.
yep. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes
like,
you have to just give them that direction. Other times you have to sit there and rub your temple when a drunken actor suddenly starts shouting, "Give me a verb. What am I doing?" It's like, you're drunk.
What's my motivation?
You're drunk. You're a starship captain. Go.
Motivation. What's my motivation? What's my motivation?
Quick shout out on that. If I'm gonna be mentioning the drunk show, a quick shout out to Chris R. Wilson and Zachariah Person and Tim Feeney. No relation to Shirley Feeney, who did that series. Those guys are wacko, semi geniuses, quasi to some, semi to others. But yeah, so back to the episode, I wanted to make sure, just to make sure we don't forget. I love the interaction when Laverne comes to the door for the rescue and it gets to the window. And I had forgotten this. Wasn't until I came back to the episode, the detail where Shirley starts to unwheel the window open and it almost pushes Laverne off the side of the building on like the second or third, probably like the third floor. Again, it's a case of just the timing, the delivery. And then it's like, and then when Geisler comes back and says, it's like, how did you get in here? And she's like, I'm Peter Pan, like that. Oh, it's so good. I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of this episode.
Yeah, she's just done with this crap. She's just done with this crap. Laverne being done with anybody's crap will instantly be a classic moment.
Mm-hmm.
It'll instantly provide that classic moment. It's like,
mm-hmm.
almost always beautiful, and that is what that particular moment brings about.
Mm-hmm. And I love, and actually, and like, there's also that great exchange she has with him about the, are you going to, it's like, I'm going to, are you going, I should slap your face. And like, it's like, are you going to hit me? And he basically threatens her, he puts up his dukes. And then as soon as Carmine shows up, like, all right, now I'm going to, as long as Carmine's around, she'll definitely take him on.
Yeah. Because Carmine provides the muscle no matter what, so to speak. So to speak, he's there to punch things and punch him good. And that's one of his many skills, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, he's just tragically one of those people that Carmine worked out all the muscles except one.
I'm just letting you say that one. Just letting that roll over. Just letting it roll over our minds and marinate it just a little bit. Just marinate a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know why suddenly now I'm just thinking of Horror Express, and you know what? Actually, no, that's maybe a bit too much body horror for this show. I'll back off of that.
Yeah.
But if you like your good 70s spooky movies with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee and Telly Savalas with a great soundtrack, go watch Horror Express. It's a really good Blu-ray that just came out recently. That looks fantastic for it.
I have not seen that.
It's a really good one. Oh yeah, that's a fun one. Now you'd like that one. You'd really like that one.
I need to check it out. I absolutely need to check it out. Okay, so this is gonna be.
Yeah. What do you
think?
What do I think?
Rating. Give us a rating. Give us a rating. Do it.
A low 6 is what I'd give this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, this is around this is about a 5 or a 4. Just for the physical comedy, just for that Lenny and Squiggy and Laverne scene, for a lot of the little one-liners. But Jesus, all the date rape scenes, all the date rape episodes, or acquaintance rape episodes, or attempted acquaintance rape episodes, just
now that I think about it, you're right. I'm playing by the rules of being, because I'm a video gamer, as has been made very clear with my nerdy references throughout. In video game reviews, you can't do anything less than a 5, or else the fans come at you with pitchforks. You know what? I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this a 4.5. The only thing that saves it.
That works.
Yeah, I think 4.5. I think you're right. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change it. I reserve the right to change my mind. I'm gonna change my mind. Because
that works.
date rapists and rapists in general can go burn. And I think about how like there was this, I believe this has been busted as a myth, but I do believe I've heard the story that there were some like cities in the Roman Empire that if you were caught, like in the street, raping a woman in an alley, you were basically beheaded on the spot practically. I know there were pirates that did that.
Yeah. They had a code of honor. You don't mess with certain pirates.
Yeah.
There's a code of honor going there.
Yeah, but it's just one of those. It's just like there's a part of me that would like to be able to be like super peacenicky and not be violent and hellfire and brimstone and let God be the one, the judge, and sort them out. On the other hand, I'd like them to stop and to die as well. Yeah, I don't feel that shouldn't be a controversial statement to make.
Yeah, exactly. The only credit I'll give this episode is, like I said before, the least it's not played for comedy. That specifically what's happening to Shirley is not funny, haha. They try to make it funny, haha, in other situations, and it's not on.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, that's it. That's it for this episode, I think.
Right on. Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us, and yeah, so make sure to follow us on the Twitter, the Book of Faces, or the Facebook, as apparently normal people call it, not weirdos like me. We're also on Tumblr, and you can support us on Patreon and check out what our incentives are for joining us and helping to support the show. Thank you so much for once more for coming around and spending a little time with us, and kind of a nice little bit of a nice ramble discussion about other things, and yeah, I think I'm just starting to ramble on right about now. I think I'm starting to get into some other kind of voice here. So I think I'm just going to pass it back to Lisa here. And what do we got next for next episode time?
Next week, the girls try to get their clothing back from Milwaukee Masher. It's fake out at the stakeout.
That sounds like a good time. Milwaukee Masher. Wow, yeah. Grindhouse fan like me can appreciate a title like that very much. Although, truthfully, that sounds like a student body style parody.
Yeah, that's something Sam Raimi would have directed.
He probably would have. Well, he would have probably done it during his high school years, like during the
yes, Super 8.
Yeah, or during the what was it? I'm thinking of the Indiana Jones one. Waiters.
Oh God. Oh.
Waiters of the Lost.
Oh yeah, Blind Waiter. No, Blind Waiter is Blind Waiter is a different thing. Cleveland Smith Bounty Hunter. Jeez. Ooh, that was not coming to me. Okay.
But anyway, so
that's it for this week.
Yeah. Thanks again, everybody.
All our dreams come true for me and you.